This is Co-op HD1 HD3 Hornsby, radio for people, not for profit. Welcome to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Each week, we explore how your library is more than books. The library is knowledge, technology, and inspiration for our community. Hi. I'm Kanya Lyons, and I will be your host today. And on the show, we have Arielle Pizano, who is an administrative assistant at the Twin Oaks branch. And she is here to talk to us about how the library is more than books and how library staff are more than just clerks. Welcome, Arielle.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Pretty awesome, actually, being here. And it feels nice.
Excellent. Well, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to come. So you had this idea to talk about how the library is more than books and how staff are more than just clerks. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, when people typically come into the library, they don't think to ask the person who's in front or at the desk more than just a book recommendation. But in actuality, we're people too, and we have different values and opinions, and we can recommend you a good restaurant or we can recommend you a really good book. And also, just a reminder to all of our customers, like every branch has its own flavor due to the many and diversity of the staff. So at one branch, you'll have a music-based programs, and then in another you'll have more children-based, or it's just a wide diversity, and it's like a huge melting pot at every branch you go to. It's just amazing.
Absolutely.
And we're more than books because what we try to promote, we try to promote love and union, and just to make everyone know that the library is a happy place to be, and it's also a place to escape your day-to-day.
Absolutely. And it's a safe place. It's a place where everyone is welcome.
Yeah, totally.
So, thanks for sharing that. Well, let's get to know you a little bit and learn about your flavor. Where do you come from? Where are you from?
I'm from Austin, born and raised, and I've been here all my life.
Well, so tell me a little bit about growing up in Austin. I imagine you've hit Barton Springs a lot or the libraries a lot. What were your favorite things to do as a kid growing up here?
Well, surprisingly, you would think I've been to Barton Springs a lot. I've only been there probably 4 times in my entire life.
Oh, my goodness.
But the places that I really do focus and go to are, I'm a big foodie. So I go to a lot of the restaurants here in Austin. And I remember as a kid, the first restaurant that ever touched my soul was La Reina Mexican Restaurant and Bakery. And ever since then, it's been always a good memory for me.
Cool. So what part of Austin did you grow up in?
South Austin.
Nice.
Actually, I'm only 5 minutes from the Southeast branch.
Oh, awesome.
So that was my go-to library to sneak.
That's a great little library that is kind of hidden away, but it's really heavily used in that community. Yeah. It's great. Awesome. Well, so what inspired you to want to work at the Austin Public Library or in the library and just in general?
As a kid, I just remember the times that I had in the library at my school. I went to Metz Elementary, and first walking in there, kindergartner, 4 years old, I was like, oh my goodness, all these books at my disposal, and slowly being exposed to them because I had a tutor. And so she would always bring me books, and just looking at the pictures and just going into my own little world while also being able to express myself as a young child. And from there, I told myself, if ever given the opportunity, I will be either a librarian or someone who's just really involved into books.
So you were touched at a very early age by all this stuff. Aw, that warms my heart. So if you're just joining us, this is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and streaming at koop.org. And there are details about this particular show, Volumes, at library.austintexas.gov/volumes. And right now we're talking to Arielle Pizano, who works at the Twin Oaks branch as an administrative assistant. But as she's been explaining to us, all of the staff at our libraries are more than just clerks. They are human beings, and they bring all of the interesting flavor and color and personality to the branches. A lot of the programs, are built from the ground up by different staff who just are inspired or have a great idea. and not just the programs, but book displays and, sometimes homemade signs or things like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about how each staff member contributes to making a branch unique?
Well, particularly at Twin Oaks, a lot of the crafty things that you will see, for example, every few months or for every season, we have like a book drop monster. And it doesn't just mean always a monster. It may look like a monster to some children, but just to show them, like, hey, you can put your books in here. It's makes the kids more active to want to turn in their books, and they're like, yeah, let's see that book drop slide. So recently, right now, what we have going on, I have Olaf decked out in back-to-school wear.
Cool.
And a little sign that says, the best tool for school is a library card. And
nice.
It's cool because then sometimes people will try to even high-five the Olaf, even though he's pretty flat. And I make the signage. So right now, I drew Stregonona, and just to hear the kids from 2 years old walk by and they're like, oh, Stregonona, and for them to recognize that makes me feel like I did a job well done.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And just everybody has different passions for everything, and we want to make the library fully accessible to everyone, regardless of what people may quote unquote call something that'll hold them back. So we have someone at our branch that is all about she's an advocate for all the deaf people that are around us. We do have a Texas School for Deaf right next door, so it didn't really make sense to just make it accessible to those who hear instead of just going to a piece of paper. Be able to get into that and more intimate connection with them, and those who are visually impaired be like, sorry, we just have this. We have someone else who's very passionate about that and making it more accessible to them, and just in general, all of that combined, it blows my mind.
That's amazing. So what are some of the ways that they're making it accessible? Is it programs or books or?
It's programs that we are trying to install. So we have that Shark program, I believe is what it's called, to help them actually see instead of having to get that little magnifying paper thing and put it into the screen. Awesome. We can have it to where they can just click a button, and we'll help them with that, and they can be able to access it a lot better on the computers. And at Twin Oaks, we made a little template, that they can just point, like if they need to renew a card, if they need to renew an item, instead of just having the struggle of them going to their phones or having to write it on a piece of paper. They'd be like, oh, I just need this and this and this.
Oh, that's really smart. I used to work at the Vulcan Video that used to be in that neighborhood, and we had a lot of folks that were coming in from the School for the Deaf, and I wish we had thought of what you're describing, because we did have to scribble a lot of notes back and forth, and it's also just very respectful to be like, oh, we know that you guys come here a lot, so here's a useful tool to make our library more accessible. So that's pretty awesome. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about some of the programs. So y'all do story times the library offers story times. There are, let's see, what other kinds of regular programs?
So we have movie nights. I believe it is every second Tuesday of the month, and it's just different movies that have either not really been viewed, or they're just movies that are very popular, just to make it a little different every Tuesday. Like
a family movie night?
Yeah, family movie night. Cool.
Well, I want to have you tell me a little bit more about some of the programs, but we're going to actually take a break now and talk about this audio clip. So we're about to listen to an audio clip that features the poet Ashley Smith Kefitz reading her original poem titled Inventory of the Preceding Year. Last April, she and a whole bunch of other local poets read their work for a series of videos in celebration of National Poetry Month. And the Austin Public Library shared one of those poems a day, every day, to the library's Facebook page. So here it is, and Ashley Smith Kefitz reading her poem.
Hi, my name is Ashley Smith Kefitz, and I'm going to read Inventory of the Previous Year. Became a farmer of microbes, wild yeast dissolving grains against time, the way one's pulse describes a violet network, amylase, against singularity a gluten structure, seeps into the fibers bond to bend, emission of need. The way the tongue makes a music the face can't reach from the outside. Small life unlocks the nutrient at its tiniest mirror, becomes interior, clicks the enzyme into place, but describing the internal as a series of historic reunions. I know you. While fake news flooded the lit exterior, I tried to reach into with hands like a cat's tongue's Velcro to detangle the harm of the lie from love. I wore the sluttiest lingerie I could, to rise like a message. I tried truth to power. I wore archaic connectors to nylon like past centuries were hot and we could live forever. I yelled at white people. FFS. I spoke calmly. I couldn't metabolize the man of the year. I looked at pictures of Hillary Clinton as a girl and remembered a leather-studded teenage need to believe her. I watched children play violins. That the word could sear through authority, pain of the body at stake, and how to metabolize the constant threat. The anger doesn't dissipate, it lodges. I was tired before it was worse. I turned to the fundamental sharpness of Betty White, made more so by time, a luminosity, how the internet described that she is older than sliced bread. The way Cleopatra was born closer to the invention of Snapchat than the pyramids. She turns her face towards us like an essay. Filter of the year as a series of reflective microbes. Pyramid of lost faith. Filter to describe exclusion and where the anger goes. And the micro-lodging of the smallest injustice. Inauguration, how a crispness of insult wishes resistance into being.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I'm a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. Each week, I highlight a few programs for adults that are happening around the Austin Public Library. Our full list of programs may be found on the library's events calendar. Author Bernadette Nason will be at the Menchaca Road Branch Library Sunday, September 17th. Bernadette will discuss her memoir, Tea in Tripoli, her story of accepting the first available overseas job she found, and the life she built in Libya. The reading and discussion will be from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Sunday, September 17th at the Menchaca Road Branch Library. Monday, September 18th, the Cepeda Branch Library will host Lee Green for Medicare 101, Get the Facts. This educational session will offer Medicare beneficiaries guidance through their coverage options and answer questions regarding how to sign up, how much does it cost, and what's the difference between a Medicare supplement and a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare 101 will be at the Cepeda Branch Library Monday, September 18th from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Hey there, Austin. Teen Program Specialist Michael Harley from the Downtown Falk Central Library here. Teen Book Club is back. This week, teens can meet up with other readers to discuss The Young Elites by Marie Lu, the first volume in the Young Elites trilogy. Powerful abilities and secret societies abound in this supernatural X-Men-like adventure from the author of the Legend trilogy. I've had the pleasure of spending time with Marie Lu and hearing her discuss her work. This new series of hers has received rave reviews, and teens have the chance to discuss it with fellow fans this week at the Housen Branch on Tuesday, September 19th at 6:30 p.m. More details for these and additional teen programming can be found at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Ann Minner, Managing Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to highlight some information for children this week. The school year is in full swing, and teachers are sending home the homework of read 20 minutes each night. Well, something to add into that time is reading aloud together. Here is an interesting thought from Jim Trelease, author of The Read Aloud Handbook. A child's reading level doesn't catch up to his listening level until 8th grade. Parents can and should be reading 7th grade books to 5th grade kids. They'll get excited about the plot, and this will be a motivation to keep reading. A 5th grader can enjoy a more complicated plot than she can read herself, and reading aloud is really going to hook her, because when you get to chapter books, you're getting into the real meat of print. There is really complicated, serious stuff going on that kids are ready to hear and understand, even if they can't read at that level yet. Reading aloud to a child boosts vocabulary, enhances the attention span, and encourages kids to read more on their own, and maybe someday they will even read aloud to you. Lots of books for all ages to share can be found at library.austintexas.gov.
Support comes from Terra Nera, a traditional Chinese medicine practice in central Austin, offering acupuncture, personalized herbal formulations, Asian bodywork massage, cupping therapy, and nutritional support. Owner Hannah Rudolph believes every human being deserves to live a happy, pain-free life and is committed to helping her patients achieve a goal of holistic wellness. More information available at terraneraacupuncture.com or by calling 512-593-1256.
Is your nonprofit a co-op community council community organization member? Membership comes with no obligations and many benefits, including co-op membership and voting rights, public service announcements, and being able to have your events posted on the Community Council events calendar. Contact Community Council at kop.org for more information.
You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and KOOP.org. Radio for people, not for profit.
And welcome back to Volumes. Before the announcements, we listened to local writer Ashley Smith Kiefitz reading her poem, Inventory of the Preceding Year. And the complete 2017 National Poetry Month videos can be found on the library's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Austin Public Library and the number 1. All the library social media accounts can be found on our website at library.austintexas.gov/social. So if you are a poetry fan, the Terrazas branch of the library also is hosting a monthly series called Oral Literature, in which local writers read their work aloud for the public on the last Wednesday of each month. So the next one is coming up Wednesday, September 27th. Members of Chacon Street Poets will be featured reading their work, including Nancy Lily Gonzalez, Sam Trevino, Jessica Binkley, Joe Brundage, Travis Ruggles Freeman, and special guest Leticia Urieta from Barrio Writers. Oral Literature has its own Facebook group where there are details about upcoming programs. That URL is facebook.com/group/orallit, spelled AURALLIT. That's Oral Lit. So let's get back to our conversation with Arielle Pizano. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So you're, just to remind our listeners, you're an administrative assistant at the Twin Oaks branch, and we're kind of talking about how the library is more than books and how staff members are more than clerks. And you were talking about, before we went to the audio break, you were telling me about some of the programs at the Twin Oaks branch. And I was curious, we didn't quite get to this, but can you tell me a little bit about the Twin Oaks Art Gallery?
Yeah, sure. So we are showing some paintings and drawings from an organization called Visions of Ash, and it is basically from patients from the Austin State Hospital, and they are able to express themselves through paint, through pastels, through drawings and words, and it's just everywhere around the branch. It's very amazing, and you get to see, at least for a moment, what actually goes on in their minds or in their lives, and you're able to kind of see a deeper meaning of what it is to be under or have mental health issues. And it's like they may not be able to express themselves through words a lot of the time, but with their paintings they're able to express that 100-fold, and it's very beautiful.
Wow. And so the exhibit is throughout the library branch?
Yes, you can find it through our fiction section, nonfiction section, basically everywhere. And each painting will have like little details of what it means, a little detail about the artist as well.
Nice.
And it's going to be going on until the end of September.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so far, what kind of a reaction have y'all gotten from the public?
A lot of the customers that come by, they usually just walk and stream by the aisles, but now having these paintings posted up everywhere, they'll actually stop, look at it, and be like, man, these are just very beautiful. They're gorgeous. And they're just like shocked about how detailed a lot of these paintings are. And it's just like we're breaking that barrier, like just thinking, putting mental health in a box. Be like, hey, they actually are human beings and they have really great talent. And we're trying to show that off to the public.
What a great thing. I really want to go and check that out. I'll have to make a point of doing that. And so one of the other really cool things that y'all do at the Twin Oaks branch is a tutoring program. So can you talk a little bit about how that's structured?
Yes, so we house the Victory Tutoring Program. So it's for any students that are from kindergarten all the way to senior. And so what goes on there, you're matched with a mentee depending on your skills. So if you're more skilled towards language arts, comprehension, you'll have a student that needs help with that. And along with that, you'll be able to get to know this mentee a lot more deeper. And a lot of the times when these children are given tutors, they're just like, oh, because they're slacking in or they're not understanding the material. But honestly, most of the time, they're just wanting somewhere to go that is not school. And when they come and see you, regardless of who you are, they see you as a getaway, they see you as a break. And so, yes, you help them with homework, but yes, you also help them flourish and bloom into another person, into society, and to give them the confidence that they need to be who they are and not be ashamed or scared or what's going on or what may people say, but to be able to be themselves. So you're not just a tutor academically, but you're also a tutor for them if it's very bold to say, but in life as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mentoring, I mean, it really means a lot to the children, but it also means a lot to the adult. Like, it's very, very rewarding, and
yeah, totally.
It's mutual. It's a good relationship. So if you're just now joining us, this is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and streaming at koop.org. Show details about Volumes are online at library.austintexas.gov/volumes. We're talking with Arielle Pizano, who works at the Twin Oaks branch, and we're talking about some of the programs there. So I know that in a few days, you guys are going to have a book sale. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, we'll be having a book sale on the 30th of September from 10 to 4. It will have a different array of books from adult to child, and all proceeds will be going straight back to the library.
Cool.
And it's an all-day event, so don't feel rushed to get there right at 10. And I can tell you this year our selection is going to be it's very diverse. It's
nice.
So and it's all because of the donations from our customers, and it's just amazing. And they'll actually tell us this book will touch someone else's life. And we're like,
oh, so
okay.
Customers are donating the books that are going into the book sale. Oh, that's really cool. And I was going to ask you, where can you share where exactly the Twin Oaks branch is, the intersection of, what is it, South 5th?
It is South 5th and Mary. It is at the where it's located where the old post office used to be.
Yep.
And for the other foodies that are out there, it's right across the street from Thai Fresh.
And that place is good.
Yes.
To say. So can you talk a little bit more about some of the other popular programs that y'all have at the Twin Oaks branch?
So one of our other most popular programs, it's 2 o'clock tunes, which means a lot of our local artists come by and they play for about an hour, and it's just a great time. Even the neighbors because we have a neighbor right next door to Twin Oaks, they'll literally just come out their door and be jamming out, and you see them, and it just brings a community together because it's usually held in our amphitheater, and people will either be walking their dogs or walking their babies, and they'll hear a good bass beat or jazz. It's very different mixture of music every time, and they'll just come in, and they can just come from the side and then just join us, and it's
live music outside. And is it usually on a weekend?
It is on a Saturday. I believe it's the first Saturday of every month.
Cool.
We haven't settled the date yet for next year's 2 o'clock tunes, but we're excited and we're pumped, so we're planning it out.
Awesome. In progress, so there'll be details forthcoming. That's exciting. So live music, we got story times, we got a book sale, we've got some art, a lot of accessibility. What other things have we not touched on that y'all have going on at the Twin Oaks branch?
Well, at Twin Oaks, we have 2 beautiful areas. We have the amphitheater that I mentioned earlier, it is just a wide open area. We have our famous mascot, the Mr. Robot, that's right outside. It's a pretty cool sculpture to take pictures with, which is actually a big popular attraction for the kids. And then we have a more intimate kind of like setting. It's the reading garden, and it's like just, we have different flowers and plants, and you can just sit there and enjoy. And that's actually one of the few areas where you can eat at the library. You can bring your food out there, and people study all day if they like. And then we have a quiet area for those that are just want complete and totally silence, because the library is no longer the complete quiet place. So it's kind of changed. So helping those who want that complete quiet place of a library, we have that quiet area, and we are, I believe, one of the few branches that have that quiet area, and it's pretty cool. A lot of students, a lot of teachers that come from school that need to grade, you see them go in there, put their headphones on, they're down to business. They're downgrading those papers, or they're cramming for finals.
Oh, that's fascinating. Well, so we are just about at the end of this segment, but if you don't mind, can you tell me like what were the last handful of things that you checked out from the library?
Yes. So recently I finished reading the series. It's called the Asylum series. It's scary. It's a very like cliffhangery, and there's a lot of novellas in between. So when you think that if your copy's checked out that you need to read, you have that one novella to get you over, and it just constantly on the edge of your seat, like, oh my God, what's next? What's going to happen to this character? And then if you want more backstory, there's that novella to help fill you in if you ever felt like you're missing something.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, I will add that to our book list, our volumes book list. So thank you so much for joining us today in the studio. And we'll have to have you back on again once y'all get those 2:00 tunes ironed out.
Yeah, totally. It was a great time. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks so much. So I am not quite done talking yet. I just want to remind our listeners that the Fox Central Library's last day of operation is this Friday, September 15th. That library has been there since 1979, and the library is closing for good. This Friday, September 15th, will be the last day that it's open. So during that period from Saturday, September 16th through Friday, October 27th, Central Library users will have to visit a neighborhood branch like the Twin Oaks branch or any of our we have 20 branches all over town. So to get those library services, Central Library users will have to visit a branch just for that small period between September 16th and October 27th. Any holds that people had scheduled to pick up at the Fox Central Library, those are going to get routed over to the Carver branch. So just be prepared for that. Don't fret. We are going to open the new Central Library on Saturday, October 28th. From 1 to 6 p.m., those doors will be open to the public. And then after that, the new Central Library is going to be open 7 days a week during regular operating hours, just like the Fox Central Library was. And details about the new Central Library are online at library.austintexas.gov/central. And details about Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, can be found at library.austintexas.gov/volumes. Thanks again to Arielle Pizano from the Twin Oaks branch for joining us and talking about how the library is more than books and how staff members are more than just clerks. Thanks to our communications and media volunteer, Federico Pacheco, who works behind the scenes to make the show happen. Thanks to Tracy Schultz for filling in for DJ, and we all send our love and condolences to DJ right now. And stay tuned to 91.7 FM and KOOP.org for rock and roll pest control, high octane rock, metal, and punk music. Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Special thanks to our producer, DJ Harris, and to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song, Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and Mike Wheat on percussion. And thanks to you, our listeners. Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesday afternoons at 2:30 on Co-op 91.7 FM and KOOP.org. If you catch us mid-show, full episodes and other details can be found at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.